Happy Thursday. Good morning to everyone. On our last devotion of this week, Thursday morning, May 6th today. Hope you're all having a good Thursday morning, a good week. Letitia Sexton, good to see you this morning. Welcome. Barbara Richardson. Stephanie Ellis, good morning to you. Sally Crocker. Jim Fuente, Jim and Kathy, good to see you this morning. Lori Cares. Jan Akins, good morning. Alyssa Tucker, good morning to you. Mike and Kim Johnson, welcome this morning. Good morning, Mother. Good to see you this morning. Daryl and Suzanne, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, it's a good Thursday morning. Janisa, good to see you. Lots of names popping in this morning. So today's topic I wanted to discuss, I didn't spend time in the Psalms this morning. I spent time reflecting on an experience I had yesterday that was so meaningful to me, and I just wanted to pass it along because it represents a larger topic that has been so important to me in recent years, and that is the idea of processing our emotions, and how helpful it is to understand our emotions and to know how to navigate and explore them, and it's been such a meaningful exploration for me personally. It's really been, without being over dramatic, it's been life-changing actually. Because let me give you a little history for those of you who don't know me as well. I have, like all of us, have experienced life with many wounds, losses, rejections, setbacks, hopes, dreams, failures, all those things. And in all of those things, we experience a range of emotions. But those more painful emotions, those difficult emotions, I failed to understand how to process them. And so my coping mechanism, what I did was I instead of processing my emotions, I learned to manage them. And I primarily managed them by suppressing them, avoiding them, medicating them in various ways, escaping from them, pushing them down. And I'm not going to deal with that. I don't want to feel this way. It does not feel good. And so I would just push them down and deny them. And over time, those backlogged emotions would just build up in me. They were unprocessed, and they were and it was just building. And we're talking years, over a lifetime of this constant activity. And in the midst of that, I began to not be able to even process my own heart, because I became so adept at coping, pushing down, suppressing, escaping, avoiding my uncomfortable emotions, that even my core longings, my core desires would become distorted and affected, suppressed. I couldn't identify them very well. It would be confusing. And what would take over would be this general large sense of discomfort, anxiety, that would trigger other physiological responses in me. That were, anxiety is a fear-based emotion. So our primary physiological responses to fear is fight, flight, or freeze. And your body just shuts down because it turns on to these other modes of operation, which are essentially good. It's wired into us, but you experience that over a long period of time. It really makes it very difficult to navigate life. And so I was experiencing these things, but not knowing in a frustrating way, not knowing how to navigate them really well. And I feel like my relationships were shrinking. I wasn't able to give my heart to people to the degree that I really wanted. People described me as guarded, really hard to get to know. Instead of experiencing highs, of joy and everything, I was like, I was just not experiencing a lot, because I was also on the other side of things, not really desiring to experience the mirror of that, kind of the low lows. And so all that was building up. Well, 3 years ago, some of you know our family's story, that we experienced a tragic, traumatic, violent loss of two of our family members. And what that did for me is all of those emotions that for years that have been bottled up and just suppressed. I had no way of this traumatic experience, no way of navigating it. I had no tools, nothing I could do could suppress what I was feeling, and my soul cracked open, cracked wide, and I just gushed with all of these unprocessed, backlogged emotions that just focused on this single event, and I didn't know what to do with any of it. And it really sent me in a tailspin. And I sought out a therapist. I just started reading books on mental health. I went on a sabbatical, as many of you well know, and just try to what do I do with all of these things that I'm feeling? And it was such an important journey for me. And I just want to talk about this because it is it's something I think that is so, as I talk to people in my pastoral role, I talk to a lot of people who are processing life, processing their own struggles. I mean, all of us have our wounds and our especially wounds of our past and our childhood, and messages that somehow we received in our heart as children. Maybe not even the message that was intended, but the message we heard, the message we received, and what kind of stuck to us, that we carry forward in life, that we don't know what to do with some of these wounds and messages, and then, of course, major life experiences of trauma and difficulty. What do we do with all this? And our culture doesn't really help us to navigate painful feelings, uncomfortable feelings, because our culture, the highest good of our culture, what we pursue, what we value the most, is happiness. We want to be happy. We want to have feelings of peace, contentment, satisfaction. We just want to feel good feelings all the time. And so because that's a major priority of our culture, and maybe the worldwide culture, but I know this more in my own experience, if that's our highest goal, our highest priority, we expend a lot of energy pursuing that. And we expend very little energy knowing how to process in a healthy way those emotions that are uncomfortable, difficult, painful. And we only now, really, more recently, at least in my experience, has mental health been more of an accepted thing to talk about. Yet all of us deal with mental struggles in so many levels all the time. We just don't know. We don't talk about it. We don't know what to do with it. If I have to go to a therapist, that we keep that on a hush hush. Oh, that person's seeing a therapist. They got some problems. And even in our Christian circles, we condemn that path of seeking to explore our emotions and our wounds and so on. We think, no, you just need Jesus. And that's all you need. And we don't need the help of these other tools to process our emotions. And I think we've really, and you may or may not agree with me, but I'll just say, I think the tools to manage emotions are so vital that without managing them, even our greatest Christian leaders fall terribly, morally, abuse of power, affairs, all those things. I think the core of it is our inability to process our emotions, or develop our emotional maturity in a healthy way. And let me give you an example of this. someone has, in my exploration of emotions and just naming them, developing emotional vocabulary, how to understand my emotions, because to me, emotions fit into one of two categories. They're good or bad. When I feel good, that's good. If I feel anything uncomfortable, painful, that's bad. And I should get rid of that. I should avoid it, push it off, suppress it. Good and bad. Those are the two words that I described emotions. But emotions are so complex and multi-layered and so on. I discovered in my journey in the last 3 years that I needed to develop a vocabulary to describe what it was that I was feeling. And so in that journey, there's lots written about this. And one researcher has identified 6 core emotions. Right? You can. I don't remember his name, but you could Google this stuff. Another person 8. These. What are our core emotions? Then all the other emotions are either combinations of these core emotions or subsets of the emotions. We're just developing a vocabulary. Here's one thing I observed. Is that, so we'll take the guy who put out that there are 6 pure core emotions that we feel. If I can name them from memory, I'll try to. Anger, happiness, sadness, surprise, disgust, and fear. 6. If you look at those, and everything, all the other emotions we describe are either subsets of those 6 emotions or combinations of those emotions. If you look at those in terms of good and bad, based upon how they make you feel, guess what? Of the 6 emotions, only one is good, happiness. All the rest, fear, anger, disgust, surprise, what was the other one? I forgot. Anyway, they're all bad. If you're only thinking about good and bad, 5 out of 6. And the person who came up with 8 emotions, 8 basic emotions, he just took happiness and split it into 3. So it's still overwhelmingly uncomfortable, I would even say negative emotions, that we don't like how we feel. So if that's the majority of our emotional experience, not as far as the diverse emotions we feel, and we have very few tools to navigate that and explore what those could be helpful in our life for. They're not, I hesitate to say negative emotions, they're uncomfortable emotions. We don't like feeling them, loss and pain and struggle and fear and all those things. So if we try to just push those off and suppress them, we don't develop the tools of navigating them, yet it's the majority of the emotional range that are actually positive and healthy in our life. God made us to feel these emotions. So I had to first understand that I needed to stop labeling them as bad, and I'm learning to stop labeling them as negative because they're actually very helpful, though they're uncomfortable. And so I'm already talking way too long on this. This is such a robust topic, and I have spent the last 3 years navigating this. Let me just fast forward to the end here. I just want to say that the work that you do to navigate and explore this great range of emotions we feel will pay off, will result in, this is my experience, that I feel freer. I feel like I'm able to love better. I can be vulnerable without fear. I have a more general sense of happiness, peace, contentment, satisfaction, because I'm able to navigate some of these emotions that do feel uncomfortable, but I also believe they're helpful. They're helping me to understand what I'm thinking about a particular and what I am experiencing in a particular situation or relationship and so on. This becomes very helpful to me. It's become very helpful to me in how I can relate or empathize with someone else whom I love, and I'm hearing their story and their experience, and I'm able to listen better and to empathize with someone else in their journey. And I will just say that sometimes I feel discouraged about my progress, but what got me thinking about this morning is that I had taken an emotional assessment by a particular author 3 years ago when I first discovered this author and a book that he had written. And yesterday, I was reading a different book by the same author, and he had that same assessment. So I thought, out of curiosity, I'll take the assessment again. And I was so pleased to see that in the 3-year period of my very consistently chipping away at this, of understanding, exploring my emotions and so on, how much I had grown according to this assessment. Sometimes I get focused on, I need to grow more, but it was kind of a cool thing to see, wow, you really have progressed. This work is really paying off. And in fact, I was talking to someone yesterday and how they were explaining to me that the work, a similar work, though it was manifesting differently in their life, they had started this similar journey of working on understanding, managing their emotions and not managing, I don't want to use that word, processing and deeply developing deep tools to navigate their heart and their emotions and so on. And they too have expressed, hey, there was kind of a mile marker here that I could see my progress emotionally and how it actually manifests in my life and in my physical experience, my body and how my body reacts to stress and so on. And I just connected with that in my heart. It's like, yeah, that's so great. Hard work pays off. It is so important to do this work. And I don't want to minimize it because the church sometimes does. The church, not, I don't know which church, but I know in my church's experience, we didn't talk about a lot of this stuff. When I developed no tools to navigate this. I just felt like I needed to pray more, read more of the Bible, understand more, do more. But none of that helped me. I know that sounds really unspiritual, but I still was very stuck emotionally. And it was really limiting. And it had to come to a crisis in my life, a deep, profound tragedy that cracked open my soul in such a painful way to start me on this journey. And I just want to tell you, if you are in the middle of this journey or at the beginning of this journey and something is really you're struggling with, it is so worth navigating this and learning and developing tools of exploring and processing our emotions. I had mountains of backlogged emotions that I just had to take a shovel and start shoveling. And I feel like, am I really making progress here? But in 3 years, I'm happy to say, yeah, I really do. I really do feel, and I'm so grateful to the Lord that I can experience. I'll say this: I've spoken in kind of how I relate to people, but my relationship with God, I am vastly more satisfied and content, and I feel like I can love Him and really experience God's love in such a deep way because I'm cleaning up distorted emotions, cleaning up distorted thinking about my own heart, quieting my inner critic, and so understanding this, it's so many benefits. So it's helpful, even though I didn't really talk about the Bible today. This is such an important thing to our emotional and spiritual health, how we relate to people, how we relate to God. So anyway, that's my little bit of encouragement today, and I'm hoping it was. And so looking forward to this weekend, this Sunday. I'll see some of you, and hopefully the rest I'll see on Monday morning once again. Enjoy your weekend. God bless you.